You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for.
Louisville's own DJ Ice. DJ Ice. You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price. It's the one and only DJ Ice, Louisville's coldest DJ.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. So listen responsibly.
It's the best of the best. It's the one and only DJ Ice, Louisville's coldest DJ. Welcome to Conscious Fever with Carl Price.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. It's rated ice time. So listen responsibly.
Good evening, welcome to Conscious Fever. I am Carl Price, your host. It is good to be back. I'm not alone tonight. It's good to be back after about a month. We went on a month hiatus to do some things. But we're back now here on Conscious Fever Radio, Ice Entertainment Television. Thanks for joining us tonight. Still a hot summer, and it's hot in here. Tonight, I've got a fellow foe. He is an attorney here in Louisville. He's one of the protesters attorney. He is a lawyer. He's a former co-worker, and he's a badass dude. His name is David Lackford, attorney David Lackford, or David Lackford Esquire. I don't know.
Esquire.
That's
my Twitter.
But he is you also write for Ohio State?
I write for Rivals.com.
Rivals.com.
I write for CardinalSports.com, which is the Louisville site.
Okay.
So if you're interested in football recruiting, you need to sign up over there. It's like $8.99 a month. I also write for the Ohio State site called Buckeye Grove.
Oh, okay, Buckeye Grove. Okay, so all you people joining us from Columbus, Ohio, and the Ohio State Buckeye area, got somebody that is a foe, I guess. Anyway, welcome to Conscious Fever, here on Conscious Fever Radio, Ice Entertainment Television. Again, I'm Carl Price, your host. David Lackford is going to co-host tonight with me. And we've got a lot to talk about, David.
A lot going on, man.
We got a lot going on. I'm dressed this way because I'm just hosting, but we got the DNC.
Yeah.
We got. So anyway, here's what we're going to talk about, and we want you to participate. We want you to participate tonight on this live show. You can put your comments below, as you always do. No call-ins tonight. Put your comments below, and then I'm going to comment on those comments after David leaves. But in any case, we're going to talk about all these topics. We're going to talk about COVID and high school football here in Kentucky, something that's developing. The division among the left, whatever that means. Breonna Taylor protests, and Until Freedom, who has basically camped out here in Louisville. Occupied. They have occupied Louisville. Black Power. We're going to talk about, that's a rule here. In Conscious Fever, you got to power down your phone.
That's my daughter. Single dad.
A single dad, so you got to take your daughter's call.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about Tom. Is it Tom or Thom?
It's spelled Thom,
but it's Tom. I think it spells his name. I think he pronounces his name Tom Brennan. And his comment, we're going to let you hear his comment. I know a lot of news outlets have bleeped it out, but we're going to go raw here on Conscious Fever. We're going to let you hear the comment that he made.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, the trigger warning. So, viewer discretion advised, because he dropped the F-bomb, right, and did not know that his mic was on. How many times do media people miss this whole fact that the mic is always on?
Is it always on?
It's not always on, but the mic comes on when you least expect it.
I mean,
the mic is always on a few minutes before it's time for you to go on.
I mean, look, if you don't throw those slurs around in your household and in your daily life, you ain't got to worry about what you say in front of them.
Yeah. But sounds like he did, and we're gonna talk. Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that tonight. So listen, we're gonna take, before we get started and dive into this, we're gonna take a quick break, and right after this break, David and I are gonna dive into these topics. And again, you can join us by commenting below. We're gonna recognize your comments as we always do here on Conscious Fever. We'll be right back.
Wow, we did it. We built the fastest network for the latest iPhones.
And the iPhone XR with the Retina display that makes everything look incredible.
It's like the perfect couple. You know, the ones who look great in every picture.
Like the ones who always make me feel like a before photo.
Zoe and Chris.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Zoe and Chris.
All right.
How fun is that?
Yeah.
AT&T has the fastest network for the latest iPhones. Get the mind-blowing iPhone XR on us when you buy the latest iPhone. AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Welcome back to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
I like that song. Welcome back to Conscious Fever here on ICE Entertainment Television and Conscious Fever Radio. I'm Carl Price, your host. Joining me tonight is David Lackford. We're trying something new tonight. We've been gone, but we're back live. I don't know if that was me or that was David. Yeah, man, you got to...
It's on silent.
Yeah, I mean, it's on silent now.
Act like we're in court, man.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, act like you're in court. But I'm going to tell you something, man. You invite people into your house and they just violate all types of rules. But in any case, David, let's dive right into this. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's start it off with something like, let's go with the COVID pandemic.
The COVID pandemic. Now, most of you know that the COVID pandemic is still alive and well. People are still dying in the thousands in this country every day. But today, the Kentucky High School Athletic Association decided that the season must go on. Is that fair to say?
For now, yes.
For now, until a lot of kids get sick and take it home to the grandmothers, and the grandmothers go into the ICU, or the granddads go into ICU, yada yada, the older aunts, the older uncles, etc., etc. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's not official yet. Okay, so it has to be reviewed by Governor Beshear, so and some other people as well. So what that means is the approval from the governor's office and other departments are required, right? So KHSAA is the governing body for all high school sports in the state of Kentucky.
Right.
But you know how government power is localized, right? So the JCPS can still decide, okay, we've got the green light from KHSAA as to whether or not we can play. They said, yes, we can. However, they can make their own decision not to play and shut it down, which could happen. So my son plays for Butler. He's going to be a junior, and I was like, hey, look, it looks like you might be good to go. And he was like, no, I don't know. We're going to find out Monday. Our coaches are going to tell us.
Right.
So the thing is, if they do go forward, right, what do you do when it's Sunday, right? The game's on Friday. It's Sunday. Little Brandon all of a sudden got strep throat. He's got a fever. You know,
I know where you're going with this.
And he goes to the ER because he ain't feeling good, right?
Right.
And boom, he's got COVID. So what's the protocol for that? You got to contact trace, right? So he had 35 tackles in that game. He had the game of his life. He done tackled everybody on offense, right? Everybody got to go get quarantined now. Go get tested and quarantine till you get the results. Grandma is at risk, right? Grandpa's at risk because, like, anybody watching this show, this is Conscious Fever, so I'm assuming everybody knows what's up. A lot of people that play football ain't my particular hue. And a lot of people...
H-U-E, y'all. That's H-U-E. H-U-E.
And a lot of people live with grandma and grandpa.
Right.
Or at least go over there while mom and dad.
Or they go over
work.
there
My
for dinner, or
grandparents-
they go over there for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich after
My
school.
grandparents watch me after school all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it could be white people too. So you're going home to your family. Is that all those people going to have to quarantine? What about the other team?
Right.
What about your team, all your players, the other coaches, the lady at the concession stand? Because at halftime you went out there and you bought a hot dog and some soda. What are we doing here? And there isn't. It's not like college football where you're getting tested twice a week, right? So you're isolated. You're doing everything you're supposed to do as a college football player, right? You're in your dorm. You're in your group. You stay with your groups. You go to practice. You get tested. Somebody pops. Well, it's okay. He'll just go and be isolated and quarantined until he gets straight.
Right.
But we've been testing everybody else, so we know who he spread it to because they have the contact tracing available. There's no such thing going on there.
Right.
And the problem is, a lot of carriers are asymptomatic. So if Brandon doesn't, Brandon doesn't have the symptoms on Sunday, and he just goes about his business and just passes it all over the place. The schools are going to schools are going in JCPS virtually. But you're going to send the kids out there to go tackle each other and jam into the locker rooms?
Right. And so I'm assuming that this applies to all sports. So all sports are...
Well, all sports are not football. You understand what I'm saying? Like, tennis is different.
No, I understand that. But I guess my question to you, David, is that the way you understand the order that came from KHSAA today, then it applies to all sports.
All fall sports. All fall sports.
Well,
yes.
basketball is considered a fall sport, right? It starts in the fall.
Does it? I think in
high school it may start close to
Well, they passed something else that said the AA. So Jason Frakes from the Courier Journal, he covers high school sports. He tweeted that discussion on Bylaw 9 right now. Bylaw 9 prohibits basketball players from competing on AAU and other non-school teams once school starts, and that was passed. So technically, basketball's all year. If you want to get into it, you really want to look at what it is and not get technical about attaching it to school. Basketball is AAU is all year round, right?
Well, question.
But they did pass that bylaw.
They did pass it.
They agreed. Vote 17-1 to suspend bylaw 9 restrictions.
Okay. So question, David. So it sounds like it's too dangerous to do this.
I mean, for the high school level, I think it is, and I'm going to get a lot of enemies because I cover Kentucky high school football as well. But I just don't see how you contain it once you have one positive case.
Right.
I mean, do you?
Right.
Like I said, I wanted to draw a parallel between what the protocols that high school football has in place versus the ones that actually are in place for college football, which are more stringent, testing. So if someone tests positive, they don't have to shut everything down because they've tested everybody else. They just don't have that capability in high school sports. Right. So, and I mean, you think about like offensive line, defensive line. These are two dudes. Everybody talks about the tackling. The O-line and the D-line are hitting each other in each other's face every single play. Face mask to face mask. They're blowing those particles all over each other.
Wow. That's an interesting way to spin it. But anyway, so at the end of the day, it sounds like that this decision to go forward with high school football here in Kentucky is not too cool because it could be dangerous, and after the first week, it could be a disaster, right?
I mean, I'm gonna start boning up on my tort law.
right. So you can sue some people, right?
Yeah,
but listen. So
Grandma didn't assume the risk.
Right.
And even assuming the risk, like if I go to so people say assumption of the risk, right? So assumption of the risk, real quick thing. You see somebody lighting off fireworks, you walk over there, you light the firework off, you blow your hand off. You can't sue the guy that was lighting the fireworks off because you know it's inherently dangerous. You walked over and did it, right? But football's inherently dangerous, but you don't go out to play football and catch COVID. But you can avoid the assumption of the risk by putting in place protocols that are in line with CDC regulations and say, look, we did everything we possibly could. He still got it. We're cool. But if you're just out there willy-nilly, like, hey, go out there and block each other all day long and do bull in the ring for 25 minutes straight, and then nobody takes a test, nobody does any social distancing, everybody's in the locker room whipping each other in the butt with towels, and there's nothing in place, it's business as usual. You didn't protect the person. Just like if I go to a roller coaster and there ain't no seatbelts on the roller coaster.
Right. Sounds like doing the COVID thing for high school football is a little bit dangerous. So let's switch to another subject. But your comments are welcome. What do you think about that? The KHSAA, although Jefferson County and some of the bigger jurisdictions in Kentucky can opt out and say we're not going to play. And of course, if Jefferson County and Fayette County,
well, every school district can opt out.
And Paducah, every
Paducah can,
yeah, everything can opt out. So if all of them opts out, and you just have the 6As that are playing,
right? And I mean, there's some small rural places, you know. The 6As would be the ones that would be the one that would spread it because they have the higher population. They have more concentration of kids. Like,
I mean 6A, but
you mean the 1As?
The 1As,
right? Like if you're a small town out there, like Johnson Central, you know, way out there in the
just say it, the boondocks,
out in the boonies, out in the mountains, you know, out in the holler. Those kids might not be anybody with a positive test out there.
Interesting.
So they can play a local schedule, and it's manageable that way. You just gotta be smart about it, but.
Interesting. Well, let's go to another topic. Okay, keeping with sports, David, Tom Brennan. We got a quick clip that we're going to show of Tom Brennan. And if you all have not heard this, Tom Brennan is an announcer for Fox Sports, and he routinely covers baseball. Sometimes he's covered some football games too.
He covers the Reds.
Specifically, he's at Fox Sports, but he covers the Reds in the Fox Sports Ohio. And he had a gaffe last night. I think, was it last night? He had a gaffe last night at a game. Check this out.
Nice way to put it.
Yeah, nice way to put it. Check this out.
The fag capitals of the world. Reds Live, the pregame show presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. And we come your way prior to every single Reds game.
Okay, so that's what he said. It was clear. He dropped the F-bomb. Surprisingly, this man dropped the F-bomb. And I think a lot of people are upset. So I'm wondering what you guys think. I mean, should he be fired? I saw a number of comments online, David, that sort of suggested that, well, you know, it's just one mistake. Everybody deserves a second chance. But everybody was upset. The LGBT community was upset because of the way he said it, the way as casually as it rolled off his tongue. And you all remember, if you don't remember, I'm going to remind you, because I was in law school, Cincinnati, around the time, the days of Marge Schott. Y'all remember her? She used to own the Reds. I think she owned some other sports team, but she was kicked out of ownership, right? Because of some racist views that she had. Oh yeah, she was. She was back in the day. So, but this is what's interesting, and this is why everybody is saying, hey, maybe he should be given a second chance. We're going to play a soundbite real quick of his apology. Check this out.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my bosses at Fox. I'm going to apologize for the people. I pride myself and think of myself.
So he started. There's a longer one where he started talking about the people that played my check. But here's the funniest part about that, right? He's like, "Oh, I'm about to get fired." And dude, it's a home run.
Right. And then he had to go back to the home run.
Yeah,
okay, but listen, y'all. But can y'all imagine being on the job and just effing up and realize that you effed up so bad that this may be the last time? This is like your funeral at the job. This is you're writing, you're talking through your obituary because you're going to get fired. But what do y'all think? What do y'all think about the comments and the way, and y'all heard him drop the F-bomb. And I guess the concern that I have, David, is that he casually said it.
I thought he said it with some
venom
with it.
No, he was just like, it sounded as if it had a little venom with it too. It was just like
he dropped that syllable hard.
You know,
it's a one-syllable word.
The F capital is what he said. Yeah. So
did.
You know, so what a man says so is in a man's heart. Somewhere that is written, often it is said.
He started praying to his God.
Yeah, right.
I'm a man of faith.
And
that's what people were talking. That rubs people the wrong way too. You don't get to just drop some homophobic slur and then throw in, I'm a man of God. I'm a man of God. Like that justifies you being homophobic in 2020.
Right.
You know what I mean? Here's the bottom line. Did you screw up and cost Fox Sports and the Cincinnati Reds reputation points, because what did Warren Buffett say? You could lose me $1 million, I can make that back.
Right.
I can't gain back an ounce of reputation if you cost me that.
Right.
You're gone.
But more importantly, and not only, I mean, it's because it's really not that much about Fox more so than it is about the people that he offended. I mean, you know, we're in a society where everybody's trying to get away from using slurs, period. You know, and the more you use slurs, the more you feel comfortable in that society of being homophobic or being racist, etc., etc. But the more, you know, so the more you use it, the more you feel comfortable in that society. But the less you use it, the more you push yourself away from that society. And so I don't know. I'm just going to say it outright. Y'all can comment below, and we'll talk about your comments. But I think that he should be fired. I don't think that.
I think he should be fired.
I think he should be fired. I don't think that there's a second chance with this because I'm sure that Fox Sports has a standard protocol of what your character should be, and not only on the air, but even off the air.
Well, then now they know what he is off the air.
Right.
They know what he is. There's no going back from that because you said the quiet part out loud.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What if he had said the homosexual capital? You think more people? You think people would still be upset?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what does that matter?
No, it doesn't matter. But
he's saying it's denigrating. He's being denigrating towards a population, right?
Right.
Where you're saying something in the pejorative about that place being the homosexual capital or the gay capital, as if you don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
That's
right.
the way I took it. Obviously, with the word he used, but if he'd used the, I don't know, is homosexual even the PC word? Are we going to get?
No. I mean, this is conscious people. We can say whatever we want, but
if he tried to,
I think homosexual is.
He watered it down. If he watered it down, and the word was proper, the sentiment was still from a foul place.
Yeah,
it still had animus behind it.
I'm not sure if there's a way that he could have said that it would have been okay.
There had been a lot of context.
Right, it has been a lot of context, and I'm not sure if there's an appropriate context to really say that. So, you know, at the end of the day, David, I think he got what he deserved. I think he knew what was going to happen.
Context for that?
What would be? I don't think there's ever an appropriate context.
If I was,
that's just like asking if there's an appropriate context for the N word. I don't think
not really,
ever.
No,
I know. I'm not saying the rap discussion and all that.
The F word. I'm saying if you're just like if I'm talking to my friend Sean, who's from Philly, and he's like, you know, he's a gay dude, and he wanted to come down here and live in the Midwest, and he said, well, where is there a lot? Where are my people at? And then I said,
whoa, you lose me now. Wait. So you think that
I'm trying to find the context.
There is no context. So quit looking for the context, man. No. I don't think that there's ever a context when it is offensive to anybody, even if it's offensive to one person. I don't think there's ever a context, and we do that all the time. Y'all know we offend people on this show. I mean, I get that, but I'm just saying the protocol should be if you believe that one person will be offended by that. It's like the comment that I made about the Asians when I was a prosecutor. You know, I mean, I stand by what I said because I didn't think it was really anything that was really a slur. But the point is that no, I really don't, and I stand by it because. Well, let me just say this. I still stand by it, but what I did say was that, you know, never thought about this, but if it offended anybody, you know, let me apologize. But I think that and I believe that mine was kind of on the bubble. If it was even on the bubble, I don't even think mine was offensive, but that's just me. This is personal to me. But what I'm saying to you is that with the F-bomb, I don't think there's ever the right context for it. I don't think anybody, or maybe those that are listening and watching, can actually comment below and tell us what is the right context. I don't think there's ever a right context to say it. I don't care if your friend comes from Philly and you and your friend are talking. I don't think your friend is going to say, "Hey man, where's the F-bar at here?"
He calls me the F-bomb all the time.
No, I understand that.
I can show you the text.
Right, no, but you all.
But I'm not gay, but
right, I understand.
It's funny
I understand, David, but you all obviously have that type of relationship where y'all can joke like that. I used to be that way with the judge when it came to race over in the district court. I mean, we used to joke about race all the time, you know. And I think a third person listening to us would be like, damn, that's offensive. Mm-hmm. But between us, it was okay. But I really, even in that context, I think that if he truly was talking to somebody next to him, and it was like you and your friend talking, and that's the type of conversation, that might be an exception, because all we heard was what he said. When the mic came on is what he said. So, but obviously, he didn't offer that explanation. He came back and he said,
"He said I'm a man of God.
He said, I'm a man of God. Man, get out of here.
Yeah.
What you did was." What's the word? It's unapologetic.
Unacceptable?
It's completely unacceptable. So
Inexcusable.
What do y'all think? I think he should have been fired. I think he knew it. That's why he was writing his obituary online. Anyway.
Praying to the man above.
Yeah, praying to the man above.
Expressing his faith, espousing his faith.
Right, absolutely. Look, we got a couple of more topics. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I see a red door and I want to paint it black. No colors anymore, I want them to turn black. Red ain't it for me, black all black only. Paint all that, show me, paint it black. I see a red door and I want to paint it black.
I paint the red door black, dance floor black. I'm in my own lane, unapologetic, and I do my own thing. Got my own brain. Matter of fact, I'ma paint the red door black. Whatever make you happy, go ahead, get that.
I see a red door and I want to paint it black. No colors anymore, I want to paint it black.
All right, welcome back to Conscious Fever. Next topic. Until Freedom has occupied the city of Louisville.
Yep.
Has occupied the city of Louisville.
Yeah, man. And they're doing good work too. They're doing a lot of the hard work. You know, everybody wants to talk about, not everybody, but people I talk to, they want to talk about revolution, right?
Right.
Well, okay, fine. You overthrow the dictator, you overthrow whoever it is. Now you got to build a nation. Okay.
Right.
Now you got to make sure that the roads are paved, and you got to make sure that the water runs and all that stuff, right?
Right.
I feel like the stuff that Tamika Mallory and United Freedom is out here doing is that kind of thing. You know, they're out in the neighborhood, in the community with the people, providing them with services. They're giving them food. They've got the Breonna Con coming up this weekend. From what I saw,
and what is the Breonna Con?
From what I saw here on Instagram, let's pull it up. It looks like it's a free farmers market where they're giving out, vegetables. I think it's on Broadway out here. Pull up.
I see. There's your friend Grandmaster Jay.
Yeah, we'll talk about him too.
We'll talk about him too. But Until Freedom has occupied Louisville, and they're going to be here until something happens in the Breonna Taylor investigation. For disclosure, we are attorneys who are on the roll and on the list if Until Freedom needs us for any representation if any protesters are arrested. So I want to make full disclosure of that. But I agree with you, David. I think that they are I think they mean business, and I think they mean business in a classy way. Really,
I think it takes it. You gotta attack a system of oppression from different angles, right? You can't just.
Right.
It's a multifaceted, old, tried and true system, right? I mean,
right.
White supremacy goes back to the Romans and Masada, So I think that when you see these different groups, today we had the older ladies, the older people. They were parochial folk. They went out to Daniel Cameron's yard and they sat in there. And there was one lady in there. She was about 70 something. She was
just knitting away. I saw that.
They hit her with criminal trespass a second. And to me, that's a powerful image because you need.
They hit her with criminal trespass second or third.
I forget. Don't get
Okay. Well, it was, but
she got a citation. They
but somebody got locked up. One
person got locked up, and it was because their deal was this: they were going to sit out there till 11, and they started, and they got the warning at like 10:04, 10:01, and there was about like 4 minutes left, and she says she's not going, and the cops in LMPD bonehead fashion locked her up. They could have just waited another 5 minutes and she would have walked off the grass, or he would have walked off the grass. I apologize for not knowing that person's
I think it was
name.
a she. It was a she.
I apologize for not having a name. I've been busy today. I've been running,
Right.
But the point I'm trying to make is the David and Goliath images are important to gain popularity for any sort of revolution.
Right, but think about this, David. Think about this. Think about how horrible this whole ideal, how bad of a PR this whole ideal is for the city. I mean, you have seniors that are sitting on the Attorney General's lawn.
Mm-hmm.
They are peacefully protesting, just sitting on the lawn. As you say, one lady was knitting, right, in her, looks like a rocking chair, but it wasn't a rocking chair, was it?
There was a nun out there?
There was a nun out there, and
some of these people were witness for peace.
How bad of PR, how bad of PR, I guess, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but how bad is the PR for the city when you arrest someone? Because the youngest one was 69 years old. Most of these people were in their 70s, some were in their 80s. Mm-hmm. How do you arrest somebody like that for peacefully protesting, even if it is criminal trespass?
Well, let me ask you this. I'm the cop out there, I'm the lieutenant, and you're Daniel Cameron, and I say, what do you want to do with these people? What can defeat a trespassing charge?
Permission. Let me tell you, most of you guys know that I represent somebody in the 87 who is a celebrity. So I'm not going to get too much into it, but I would tell you this. I think there are a lot of ways to beat criminal trespass, particularly criminal trespass in the third degree.
What's the easiest way?
I think the easiest way to...
You call Daniel Cameron, I call you, you're Daniel Cameron, and you're the PR aspect. Let's keep it focused on what you were saying, which was the PR aspect. Daniel Cameron is not getting good PR. Well, maybe he is out there. But my point is this.
He's not getting good PR at all.
All you have to do is say, in Kentucky, you don't think the people out in the holler like, hey, they shouldn't. You don't watch the live streams with all the racists saying all kinds of
No.
My point. Just give them permission. Give them permission.
Right,
so
give them permission.
You know what, officer? They have permission to be on my lawn. Don't lock them up.
Right. But let me tell everybody something about criminal trespass in Kentucky, especially criminal trespass third, the violation, because there's 3 criminal trespass, or 2, right? No, 3. I think it's two. No, I think it's just 2. Criminal trespass 2, criminal trespass 1. I think there's 3. 1, 2, and 3.
There is 3.
And so criminal trespass 1 is a Class A misdemeanor. Number 2 is a lower misdemeanor, Class B misdemeanor, and 3 is violation. Actually only a violation, which carries no jail time, just $250 fine at a maximum. But here's the problem: rarely can you arrest on that, and so I'm concerned that this woman got arrested just for criminal trespass, because I can tell you the rules on arresting people for criminal trespass are very solid in Kentucky, and seldom can you actually arrest. So I think the key here is that everybody should understand this: that if you camp out on my lawn today, a police officer cannot come up to you and say, "Get off of that lawn." And most people don't know that. In other words, a police officer has to make direct contact with the owner of those premises and say, do these people have consent to be here? And if the owner says no, they don't have consent to be here, then the police can direct them to leave. And I can tell you, that's the law in Kentucky. Some may doubt me on that, but more to come at 11 as we continue with some of these cases that we have. But I would tell you that, so the PR problem here for Danny Cameron is that if he said, get them off my lawn, I mean, they're 80-year-olds, they're 70-year-olds, man. What in the hell are they going to do? Even if they said something threatening, would you really arrest them? And they didn't. So anyway.
So what's the... Educate your people, man. What is the reason why you can arrest somebody if they're a danger to themselves or others? Right?
If they're a danger to themselves or if they're a danger to others, and those are the 2 main ones. Period. Danger to themselves and danger to others. I don't know how this woman could have been a danger to herself or a danger to others. Normally that law is applied to individuals who are homeless, high on drugs, and walking in the middle of Broadway, which is a busy street here. They're a danger to themselves. Police should take them into custody so they can remove that danger. But, it's just like the 87. I mean, what danger did they pose to themselves and what danger did they pose to others, especially when the community, Daniel Cameron's neighbors, were actually supporting him? That's the 87. They were actually breaking them sandwiches. I don't know about sandwiches. They were breaking them water and things to drink and chairs to sit down in and all of that. So anyway, so put your comments below. Seniors, but arrested. One senior arrested. Knitting on the AG's lawn. What the hell? Come on, Danny. Come on, man. You got to do better than that, Danny. But anyway, until freedom. Now let me just say something here while I had the opportunity before our time runs out on the arrest, because people have been asking me this a lot about will they get charged, and I would tell you that. I'm sorry. I mean, no, not the protest. I mean, the
police.
The police.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that a second.
All right, let's go.
Because you know what my position is on that, right? I believe that everybody's looking at this from the wrong angle. When people say, Kenny Taylor shot at the police, so everything else should be right. No. When he shot at the police, that was a threat, and I agree with that. And anytime somebody points a gun at the police, we send the police out there to kill. A lot of people don't want to say that. We send them out there to kill. But we send them out there to shoot back. So there's no question they should have shot back. But this wasn't a situation where Walker was standing right up on the police and pulling the trigger. And pointing the gun and pulling the trigger. That was not the case. The case was he was inside a home. At some point, I believe that the police officers had a duty to retreat. And here's why. Because if you listen to what has been placed out there in terms of what we may consider to be the facts, one thing we do know, that the intel from the police department, from Metro, said that they knew that Breonna Taylor was in there. They knew that Breonna Taylor was not a danger, and they did not believe that she was committing a crime. Now, when you look in hindsight about what Kenneth Walker has said, I mean, if the police had really announced themselves, and I don't know whether they did or not, but it sounds like they didn't, because in hindsight, it seems like Kenneth Walker would have come out. He would have said, oh, you're the police, let me open the door and let me not shoot at somebody when they come through the door, if that's a fact. Because he didn't have any warrants on him. There was no contraband there. There was nothing else illegal there. He was not the target. Breonna was not the target. Here's my point on the charges. I know y'all want to hear the charges. The charges to me are clearly wanton endangerment. Multiple counts of wanton endangerment for these police officers. And look, Mattingly, can't forget the other third officers.
Hankinson is the main one.
Hankinson. Everybody says Hankinson is the main one, but I'm gonna talk about all of them. I'm gonna talk about some of the SWAT members and some of the beat officers. Anybody who shot into that house blindly. Anybody who shot into that house blindly should be charged with wanton endangerment in the first degree. Because I'm going to compare this to a civilian situation here. You walk past somebody's house and you go up to somebody's door and they start shooting because they don't know it's you're going to run away. You're going to back up. And I know you're the police and you don't necessarily have to do that. But understand, in the Breonna Taylor situation, the police should have treated this like a hostage situation. Because they knew Breonna was the innocent one. And they knew that she was in there. They were surprised by somebody else. So why would you load up on the house if you know that there's somebody in there, somebody innocent that's in there? What they should have done was retreated and treated her like a hostage. And because they didn't, to me, that's reckless conduct. And again, I know Hankinson, I know Mattingly, I know Colesgrove, I know all of those guys. I used to work with all of them. All of them are fine officers. If I had a neighborhood that was only so small, those are the officers, particularly Hankinson. Believe it or not, I would love for Hankinson to be seriously, I would love for Hankinson to be my patrolling officer, because as bad as his record seems, he's actually dedicated and he loves his job. Maybe love it a little bit too much, I don't know, but he loves his job. And you can't knock anybody for really loving what they're doing. You can knock them when they're too excessive and they go overboard. But I like these guys. These guys are good guys, but I think they screwed up. I think they effed up on this one because they shot into a house where they knew somebody was there. That is reckless conduct with the idea that resulted. I'm sorry, reckless and wanton endangerment is what, David? Wanton endangerment in the first degree is conduct and behavior that is reckless.
Which one you want first?
Which you do not appreciate the risk of serious physical injury and
under
death.
Circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to the value of human life, he wantonly engages in conduct which creates a substantial danger of death or serious physical injury to another
right.
person.
And people, that's exactly
that's
wanton in the first degree. That's a Class D felony here in Kentucky, and that's exactly what they did. Oh, and by the way, since they had armor on, actually it bumps it up.
Yeah,
you know that, right? It actually bumps it up, but it may not apply to police officers.
Police, though.
But my point is this, y'all: don't get caught up in the fact that this is police. Keep your eye on the sparrow. The sparrow here is that under these circumstances, did these guys act recklessly? Don't believe that just because you shoot at a police officer then has the right to just engage in reckless conduct. I believe what they should have done was retreated and said, wait a minute, let's get Mattingly out of danger. Now that he's out of danger, you know, we should be okay. But now we should treat this like a hostage situation. Let's start talking to this guy. And if they had done that, we wouldn't have this situation, right? Because Walker would have said, "Oh shit, it's the police."
I mean,
it's kind of like Diallo. You know Diallo in New York City, right? Yeah. No, not with the plunger, with the wallet. The police came up to him. He came out of his house, and he said, "Well, I'm going to pull my wallet out to let everybody know." It's a great Wycliffe song. If y'all haven't had it, Diallo. But anyway, I think it should be wanton endangerment. So until freedom. Now you have my opinion on it. I think that if Danny Cameron and those guys and the Attorney General's office will look closer at the wanton endangerment statute, then there's no question that these officers should be charged and arrested, and I think they would be convicted. If I would tell you this, if I was named the special prosecutor on this case, I would have charged him already. Anyway, I'm not the special prosecutor on the case, but your thoughts. And your thoughts. If you want to put your comments below, don't hesitate to put your comments below about what I've just said and about this whole situation.
So what do we know for a fact? We know that they were there to serve a no-knock warrant, correct?
Right.
Okay, so Mattingly said that they didn't consider her a threat. They called it a soft target. And he even said that, we knocked and announced because we didn't want to use the ramp.
Do you believe that?
No.
I don't believe that they knocked.
So listen, here's the here's the charging document. This was written by Saley, right? So this is what they alleged in Kenneth Walker's
I think he's pronounced his name, yes. All
right. LMPD narcotics detectives attempted to execute a narcotics search warrant at the listed location. Detectives knocked multiple times and announced their presence in an attempt to get occupants to answer the door. Hold on. After repeatedly knocking and announcing, so they repeatedly knocked and repeatedly announced their presence, detectives utilized a ram that they said they weren't going to use, announced so they got a no-knock warrant. But they knocked repeatedly and announced repeatedly with a no-knock warrant. No. What's the purpose of a no-knock warrant, Carl? To do what? To preserve what?
No-knock warrants are for Al Capone and Bonnie and Clyde, because if they know that the police is on the other side of the door, they're going to start shooting.
And you always go to the far out extent.
No, I mean, but that's the best example.
The reason why they do no-knock warrants is so you can't flush the dope.
Isn't that what Al Capone would do? I mean, not dope, but isn't that what Al Capone would do?
I'm just trying to give a feet on the ground example. Pie in the sky and going to Al Capone, man. They serve no-knock warrants for two reasons. If you're looking for a person and you knock and announce, that person can flee. Okay, they can jump out the back door, etc.
That's Al Capone and Bonnie and Clyde. They always ran.
Okay, and also if you have some narcotics on you, which was why they were there for a narcotic warrant. A no-knock narcotic warrant, because if you start banging on the door, I'm flushing the dope down the toilet.
But no dope was found.
No dope was found, but that's beyond the point. The thing is, why would they repeatally knock and announce that they had a no-knock warrant?
Listen, guys, and I know, again, I've worked with a lot of you guys for a long time. If you're listening, if you're watching, I don't believe you knocked. Something about this whole thing stinks.
Well, how many people called the neighbors to report the shooting? If they're out there repeatedly knocking and announcing, wouldn't they hear? Wouldn't the neighbors hear that?
The reason I don't believe that, the way that's written in the citation, and that's another problem. I mean, if the facts, I don't know how you come up with the facts if an adequate investigation wasn't done immediately thereafter. But if the facts suggest something different, then that's obstruction of justice, right?
For sure.
Because because that's a lie. And I would say I would go even further. Getting Kenneth Walker indicted, I don't know why we're not asking who the prosecutor was in the Commonwealth Attorney's Office that actually let that indictment go through. Did the police officers lie to the prosecutor? That's a problem. If they didn't lie, I mean, because obviously when it got to circuit court, Judge Stevens realized that, wait a minute, this is not what it seems to be. If you go to the grand jury, this has been a former prosecutor, if you go to the grand jury and say, look, I got somebody who shot a police officer. Mm-hmm. I mean, grand jury's going to give you a $250,000 bond easily, if not $500,000 or $1 million.
Here's the thing that stood out to me. If I woke down down here in the procedural record, I look here at 4-2. That's when discovery was given to Rob Eggert, who was his attorney, right? And then on 5/21, Eggert made his motion to dismiss. Then tender document was filed on 5/22, order to dismiss. That's an agreed order between him and Higley. And Higley saw something there too that says this is a problematic case.
Is that the prosecutor?
Ebert. Yeah, Ebert saw that, and Ebert was like, yeah, there's something there. That's an agreed order between the prosecutor. What was in that discovery on 4-2?
Right.
And if they dismissed his case, then there's some flimsy defense out there for the police officer.
Listen,
right?
I'm going to say this to everybody so you don't forget this. You know, politicians are amazing in a worst way. You know, all they do is just pass the buck.
Are you amazed?
I'm not amazed.
Are you amazed?
But Tom Wine, listen, man, I have a lot of respect for you, but I think you just passed the buck. I think you should really fire the prosecutor that pushed this through to the grand jury to keep Kenneth Walker in jail for $250,000 on a $250,000 bond. I really do. I think that's how we attack this stuff. We have to get to those people who nobody ever talks about that really put a lot of this stuff in motion.
I mean, the people
the
people that actually are the muscle of what I call white supremacy and systematic oppression and racism. That's 10 times worse than dropping the F-bomb on a hot mic.
There you go.
Is it not?
No.
Everybody wants symbolism and representative
right.
crap. But yeah, what about the actual nuts and bolts of things? If I want to destroy a machine, I'm not gonna chip the paint. I'm gonna bust at the gas tank.
Right. Anyway. What an analogy, right? And he talks about my Al Capone analogy. But listen,
I want you to give a law school nuts and bolts.
A law school nuts and bolts. But anyway, I think they should be charged, and that's the reason I think they should be charged. If you have some time, look it up. What is it? What's one endangerment? Is 508.
508. It's KRS 508-060. That's one endangerment in the first degree.
060, one endangerment in the first degree. You can just Google it online. One endangerment in the first degree, and just read it. Wanton is another word for reckless. Okay, and so it's just, and I'm gonna tell you the reason I think the charge should be murder, because a lot of media outlets have asked me this. The reason I think it should be murder because we do it to people who drive with DUIs all the time. There was a young man that was actually prosecuted in some county in Kentucky for speeding too fast and killed somebody. And they said his conduct was reckless and wanton, and because it resulted in the death, he got convicted. Supreme Court confirmed the conviction. So when we arrest people for DUIs based only on reckless conduct, why can't we do the same in this case? And I don't think the fact that they're a police officer makes a difference.
So when you read the statute, Carl, let me ask you, because this is the way including comma, but not limited to, and then they talk about the operation of motor vehicle under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to human life. He wantonly engages in conduct which creates a grave risk of death. I would say blindly firing into a house creates a grave risk of death, would you not? To another person, and thereby causes the death of another person. Now, but not limited to, you could just forget about the motor vehicle part and skip right to he wantonly.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the question, though.
So this is the murder statute you're talking about.
Causes is the problem, because if you've ever shot, I can hit a steel plate, a 12x12 steel plate 100 yards out with my AR-15 consistently, 9 out of 10 times if I'm shooting 10-round shots, right? But I could take my pistol and shoot at something 40 yards and miss like crazy. Right. So it's hard to shoot a pistol.
But that's one endangerment.
But we got to figure out, and that's why the ballistics are the FBI right now, they have to figure out whose bullets actually cause
whoa. Right. They do charge the individual. I agree with that.
With the murder statute.
But right.
So if it was Mattingly just coming through there after he got hit and all his bullets hit.
So you think, hold on. But isn't that, I mean, but is that really something you have to talk about and decide before you charge, or is that something?
Well, they didn't bother doing that. Right. They didn't even wait till Dude didn't even die, Mattingly, and they charged Kenneth Walker with murder.
Right. But here's the thing.
I mean, he was charged with murder, and he was charged
with attempted murder.
No, they amended it down to murder. They attempted it down to attempted murder. Right here. They
came in. Wait a minute. Are you serious?
Here we go. Yeah, I swear to God, man. Come on, man. I speak the truth.
You speak the truth?
Murder. Amended down.
Oh my God.
So they got him with murder on 313.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, y'all. This whole thing stinks, and this is why, this whole thing stinks. Anyway, we got to move on to another topic. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Conscious Fever, here on Conscious Fever Radio, Ice Entertainment Television. My guest tonight is David Lackford, Esquire, originally from Philadelphia, the father, single father of biracial kids. I guess I should say that. This is Conscious Fever. We can say that, right?
You just revoked my white privilege pass revoked, man. Thanks.
All right, I mean, you still have a white privilege because your skin is white. Nobody knows it if they don't, if they don't know that you have
once they know, kids. Once they know,
be like, maybe we should take his privilege card. But anyway, listen, we're back. Let's talk about Kamala Harris. I know this was a hot topic on Facebook, and we're gonna make it hotter here on Conscious Fever. Listen, y'all. Listen, let's just get right to it. Get right down to the nitty gritty. I'm gonna say this, and I know I'm gonna offend some people. Listen, all you people out there that are attacking you people, you know what I mean by you people, attacking Kamala Harris, go home. Go home.
See you later, man.
No, really, go. No, I'm serious. Go home, because to me, it makes it's so ignorant to me. Listen, if you don't like the Democratic Party, you don't have to vote. Nobody's trying to force you to vote. I mean, get the hell out of here. Nobody's forcing you to vote. And trust me, the few of you all who believe that, your vote is not going to make a difference anyway. Okay?
So when people
I'm telling people, I'm not telling them not to vote. Well, listen, I'm not telling
people to vote though, man.
Listen, David, I'm not telling them anything that they've not already committed to doing. A lot of these people are saying, some of these people that I believe are an ignorant part of our society are saying, well, I'm not going to vote. Listen, part of me, most of me, is voting against Donald Trump. So it really didn't. So
you're not voting for your interests from the Democratic Party.
No, wait a minute.
They got your vote no matter what.
I'm really not. I'm voting against Trump, and I'm not alone. I'm voting against Trump because I think that when I look at the unemployment rate, when I look at the economy, I mean, we had a good stock market performance this week, but it still cannot repair what's going on or even put a dent in any type of dent of repair to what's going on in our economy. I mean, you had $1 million. I think the last report was not $1 million, but 1 million people, again, last week or last month applied for unemployment. I mean, this is ridiculous, y'all. He has done everything that Hillary Clinton said that he was going to do. And I don't mean to bring up Hillary's name, but everybody that criticized him, he's done everything they said. The economy is bad. The society is bad. Race relations are bad. Gender relations are bad. Everybody's getting discriminated against. He's bullying. He's trying to bully everybody. And listen, he has no respect for the law. And the interesting thing is that now today, you did hear today that a federal judge said, denied his injunction not to give up his taxes.
Yeah, he has to give them up.
So there may be another appeal or something like that. I think it was a federal court judge. So it may have been a circuit judge that actually did that. So now I'm sure they'll appeal it to the Supreme Court, and hopefully they can get some relief and it goes beyond them. But I think there's something in that. There's something in the water. It's kind of like Flint, Michigan, right? There's something in these taxes. Now, everybody's been saying this. I'm not saying anything new. There's something in these taxes that he doesn't want us to see. I think that's his connection to Russia or whatever that is. But in any case, get off of Kamala Harris. Let me tell y'all something.
Hold
on before you. But let me just say this, and I'm gonna let you comment. Before you talk about Kamala Harris not being black enough, let me lay some history down on you. Kamala Harris, his father, is black. Now, that don't make you black. I get that. They don't make you culturally black, because black is really, when we talk about race and color, it's more culture. So is she a part of the culture that we all want her to be a part of, to say that she's got our back? And I'm going to tell you that she is. When I listened to her speech last night, David, what I heard her say at the outset, she mentioned her college sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, and she mentioned the Divine Nine. And she gave a shout out to the HBCUs. Now, I'm biased because I'm a member of a Divine Nine. I graduated from an HBCU. But I'm going to tell you something. If you're not black, you don't survive at an HBCU. You get there on campus and you say, this is not something I signed up for. And you leave. And then I'm going to take it a step further. You don't join a historically black sorority like Alpha Kappa Alpha. If you don't believe me, www.aka1908.com. Check them out. Or 1908.org, I think is what it is. AKA, y'all can correct me on the timeline. Check them out. So when people say that she's not black enough, I think she's more blacker than a lot of y'all could ever be. Only because you don't join these black Greek letter organizations. You're not a member of a Divine Nine. You know, how many people out there that look like us, that look like me and Kamala Harris, that joined white fraternities and sororities? Kamala had that choice. She chose Alpha Kappa Alpha. And if you want to know all the women that are members of Alpha Kappa Alpha, go to the website and check them out. So I'm just beside myself. Listen, and I'm going to say this, and also I'm a former prosecutor, she's a former prosecutor. And so this is where it gets really heated, y'all, okay? Put your comments down there if you want to. Y'all can cuss me out if you want to. But I'm going to say this to you. And if you love it, just give me some hearts and give me some smiles and some likes. But I'm going to say this to you. Just because you're black doesn't mean that you have to hate prosecutors. Let me tell you something, that if there's ever a place you want to be represented, it is behind the badge of a prosecutor, if you're black. Because then you can almost guarantee fairness. Now, I would tell you that the first year or two as a prosecutor, a lot of prosecutors get perverted. They get all hyped up, oh, I got all this power, I do all of this. And I was probably a victim of that the first 6 months or a year.
I thought you were going to 6 years.
No, it wasn't 6 years. I'm going to tell you, when I was a prosecutor, I prosecuted people that I thought was really, really a threat to society. And some of them just happened to be black. So when you say that, you know, you don't like Kamala because she put a lot of people in jail, maybe those people belonged in jail. And I can tell you, some people belong in jail. And if they don't, then let them do home incarceration at your house. Let them do home incarceration at your house. And then you are right next door to you. And then you tell me how dangerous. That's all I have to say. But Kamala, I'm voting for you. You're a Divine Nine member. You're a former prosecutor. You're an HBCU grad. We're both black. Even though you're Indian and Jamaican, we're both black. And we're both American. So you got my vote. That's all I have to say. Now, what's your comment on Kamala? I mean, all this DNC, you know,
first
this
of all, her
DNC
name is Kamala.
Well, I mean, listen. All of us HBCU people, we call her Kamala.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, that's how I mean. So
you got everybody.
I'm just saying you would know that. Yeah. We all say Kamala. Kamala.
Look. This was the time to go left, as far left as possible for the Democratic Party. You got race riots in the streets. You got protests in the streets. You have an uprising of the people who want reform. They want to defund police. They want to allocate that money out here to all kind of things in the community to give resources that prevent recidivism, that stops and lowers crimes. It gives kids something to do other than join a gang. But no, everything got to just go funneled straight to the police, straight through the criminal justice system, prison, school to prison pipeline. You mentioned Hillary Clinton and what she said. Look, I don't give a shit what Hillary Clinton got to say about anything. She's a racist dog pig. She started the super predators. That's why we got cops in schools right now. That's why we got the school to prison pipeline. And 3 strikes was her idea. And repealing Glass-Steagall was her husband's baby. And that's what caused the 2008 cops. I don't care about these dinos no more. I don't care about these right-wing nut job Democrats that get in there and play centrist politics so they can pander to get the swing votes of the racist white people that are sometimes a little bit liberal, a little bit conservative. Right. That's what they do.
What's wrong with being tough on crime?
Man,
when there are criminals. Listen, I understand what you're saying.
That's a loaded question.
No.
What's being tough on crime? Why are they going to be tough on the crime act? Here's
what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. When you go overboard, I mean, a lot of people, we all go overboard on something in life. And I know sometimes in enforcement with police and law enforcement, they've gone overboard. I'm not condoning that at all. But what I'm saying is,
it's systemically that way.
Listen, it is systemic. I get that. Some of it is systemic. But when you say that, then what you're doing is, then you're saying that everything else inside that systemic bubble, then it should be okay, like the ones that have committed multiple murders, and I can tell you a lot of people that are saying and sounding like you, David, they don't want those people that have committed multiple murders being released from jail and living next door to them. And so that's the hypocritical part of this.
No, time out.
I'm not saying it's you. I'm just saying that there's
people up around murderers, convicts, drug dealers, rapists. There was a code to it. But don't say I don't want them living next to me. What I'm saying is, have we stopped the murders? With all the prosecution, with all the systemic racism, with all of the things that are designed by the system to occupy and patrol these neighborhoods that have the high crime rates? No. What we do is we see a guy like my client riding down his street on his bike the wrong way, and there's a bike ordinance, because there's a law for every damn thing you do in this country that makes you a criminal, or can at least provide PC to stop you and search you and your person, okay? Secure my person, place, and documents. No. Because they find little workarounds, like you broke the bike ordinance, then you got a gun on you, now my man's sitting in the fence. No. I don't care. Because the murders happen with or without the police. No, but the problem is there are no resources in these communities. There's nothing for people to do.
We are, in a sense, we are saying the same thing. The only thing
31% of the 100, how many, I saw a stat the other day, 31% of the murderers got caught by the police. You're batting 31% in murders, right? This ain't baseball.
Yeah, but I just...
What are you doing? Listen, at what point in time does ineptness...
Listen, David, I just think that we don't have Elliot Nesses today in the police department, and that's sad. People who, law enforcement officers who go out there and really do true blue investigations, they'll take a footprint and they'll turn that footprint into a case. We don't have those types of officers. TV. No, it's not TV. It actually happens. It actually happens. I told you about a case that I had where the download from a truck turned a real bad case into a 6-figure settlement. Right? I told you about that case. Guy on I-265 that was intoxicated, had a one-car wreck, and then another car hit him, and it should have been an open and shut case. He shouldn't get anything. Yeah. I turned it into a 6-figure case. So it's all about how much investigation, how much you invest yourself into doing it. So all I'm saying,
investigating is fine,
right? But what I'm saying is
patrolling.
No, I understand that, David. But you and I agree on that. Listen, over occupying. I said that back during the Derby days, when the Kentucky Derby weekends, when Broadway was filled with people from out of the city, and we had 3/4 of the police department down there when everybody was drunk and performing all kinds of lewd acts around Churchill Downs. And I said, we're going to have more arrests. I was the prosecutor at the time. I said, listen, we're going to have more arrests, and this is not right because you got more police in West Louisville on West Broadway to patrol all these individuals, and of course they come from out of town. It's Derby weekend. You're going to have some disorderly conduct. You're going to have some public indecency and all of that. No. And you're going to have possession of marijuana, and you're going to have gun possessions. But those things still are also out by Churchill Downs. But if you only have 2 cops, right, to patrol 100,000 people at Churchill Downs, and you have 5,000 cops to control 50,000 people in West Louisville, you're going to make more arrests. I get that. You and I are on the same page with that. All I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this, is that we should not get too caught up in the problems in the system that we seem to suggest that it's okay for the really, really bad guys to go free. What I'm saying, I know it's not what you're saying, but that's what it sounds like. But I heard a lot of people.
That's a non sequitur.
No, it's not. It's not. No, listen. Because I hear a lot of people say this. I heard a lot of people. No, listen to me, Dave. I hear a lot of people say, well, but he was black and he got locked up, and so she's not a good person. I know it's not what you said. I'm just saying an example. But I think everybody agrees that that's bad conduct by the police. You going the wrong way on the bike.
The federal judge.
It's like, it's like jaywalking, right? People jaywalk all the time in East Louisville. Nobody gets cited. You come to West Louisville, you're jaywalking, you get cited, you get stopped by the police, you get searched, and all that. We get all that. But what I'm saying is that my last point here is that we have to acknowledge that there are some bad people out there that are committing bad crimes.
Bad hombres even.
No, but to even bad hombres. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say that when I was a prosecutor, I saw a lot of crimes that were committed against little old women who are, for instance, an 80-year-old woman who is independent. And that's a big thing to be 80 years old and be independent. You're still driving, you're still shopping for yourself, you're still living alone, and all of a sudden somebody tries to take her purse, and she tries to resist it, and she gets pulled down the street, and now, she's got to spend 6 weeks in a nursing home. I want that son of a bitch to be in jail for a long time. But when we talk about the systemic problem, And then all of a sudden, we see it as a colorblind type of mentality to say,
not a colorblind.
Well, those guys get away. Listen, all I'm saying
is the opposite of a colorblind.
It is the opposite of colorblind, and I'm not saying it's not about color. What I'm saying is that it's about bad people. Listen, there is no justification for violating anybody's Fourth Amendment right, Sixth Amendment right, Fifth Amendment rights, Second Amendment right, First Amendment rights. Period. Not at all. But don't get so caught up in somebody like Kamala Harris, who was there doing her job. Because if she did a bad job, then that's what we would be talking about, right? She was horrible as a prosecutor, but she was a good job, and she did a good job. And if she did such a good job there, can we not expect that she's going to do a damn good job in the White House?
No. See, that's not what I'm talking about, though. Kamala had some good programs in place. She had a lot of diversion things she tried to do. She also was, like you said, overzealous and put a lot of people in jail on weed charges. She also had some foul stuff. Everybody, no one's perfect. You ain't perfect. I ain't perfect. The system ain't perfect. What are we striving for? What did Obama say? A more perfect union. That's what we're trying to do. But the system we have now has been in place since I was born, since Jimmy Carter was there, because we keep doing the status quo. We're just here in defense of the status quo. This was the year to tear the status quo down. This was the year to make real progress, real criminal justice reform, real school reform, real health care reform. But we got Big Pharma Joe in there, and then we call him Sleepy Joe. You got Joe Biden, man. Look,
listen, Dave. I don't care what you say.
Stop throwing your vote at people that don't care about your interests.
Who are you gonna throw them at? Then who are you gonna throw them at?
Storm! Let it burn down.
Okay, no. I can't listen. Okay, y'all don't let it burn down.
Let it burn down.
I cannot take.
The system ain't doing what it's supposed to be doing for
David,
you.
that is so stupid.
That is so stupid. What you scared of, man?
Because listen, if you stay home and not cast your vote,
I'm gonna go vote for somebody else.
Well, okay. Well,
if I stay home here in Kentucky,
somebody else.
This is the first state that turns red every single election.
Okay, but we don't care about that.
Why?
That's gonna happen.
It's ineffective.
That's gonna happen. Listen, Dave.
Do I get a little sticker?
No. Listen. But that doesn't.
I maintain the status quo.
Right, but
I'm voting for the duopoly.
Right. But you should not.
No, hold the Democratic Party accountable for putting shit fucking.
Right, and end up with Trump back in office.
And then we had Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
And they lost. That's why we lost to Trump in the first place.
It doesn't matter. I'm supporting Biden and Harris.
They could have got the far left, the middle left, every
One reason I think they are the better choice all the way around. I think that Capital, that is his vice president. You get me? You follow me? Tom Brennan, the Capital.
Yeah.
No. You got to follow me. Then Pence is a Capital. He's into what? You're not following me.
I'm not following you on that.
F Capital. No. F Capital.
I am not going there.
No, the F Capital is Pence. I'm just saying.
Of course it is.
Okay. So I'm not voting for Pence, not because of that, but I'm not voting for Pence, and I'm not voting for Trump, and I'm voting, and I'm not going to stay home, because if you stay home, you're voting for Trump and Pence. And I can tell you, the way we are living now, David, don't you wake up one day and say, okay, this weekend I want to go to a damn concert. We can't even go to a concert. You got to have this stuff online where everybody's dancing in their living room, and it's not the same. Although in Wu-Tang,
there's people going to the club all the time, bro.
No. Right, and they're catching COVID, and they're dying. So all I'm saying is this: Trump has effed this country up to no end. And I'm voting for Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and I'm voting against Trump. Number one, I'm voting for the Biden-Harris ticket. Number two, I'm voting against Trump. And
screw Trump too. I'm not voting for Trump. So
right, yeah, I can't let it get any worse than this. Whatever I can do, and besides, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all something. Unlike
they could have ran away with it if they'd have picked somebody further left.
Right. I'm going to like AOC.
No, Bernie. Why did they run Bernie up again?
I would have voted for it. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
If it was AOC, if it was
Bernie,
for anybody,
I would have voted for me. Just because I'm on the Democrat side.
No.
So I don't really got to do nothing.
It has nothing to do with Democrats. It has anything. I will vote against the independent before I vote for Trump. But the reality is that the goal here is to get him out of office. And y'all can talk all that bullshit y'all want about Kamala this and Kamala that. And when you don't get that $600 check, then you're going to wonder why. Okay? Because I would tell you that there's been a bill sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk to continue that $600 unemployment payment until this COVID stuff is gone, and they won't sign it. So they rather see y'all starve without health insurance and all of that before they actually will do anything about society. And so it's time for them to go. Mitch has been there for 2 years, and I know I'm talking too much politics, but they've been there for 3 years. So listen, if you want to stay home and make America worse again, then you can do that. Anyway, David, we are running, make America worse again.
Again?
Yeah, and, I mean, just like he did with the COVID, he made America sick again. So anyway, listen, David, I want to say thank you for joining me here on Conscious Fever. Always a pleasure. We're out of time. Listen, thank you for your comments, and I'm gonna let David go, and I come back. I'm gonna. We're already off camera. We're already off camera.
You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price.
All the society is doing is leeching off the ghetto. They use the ghetto for their pain, for their sorrow, for their culture, for their music, for their happiness, for their movies, to talk about boys in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be I don't want to be 50 years old at a BET We Shall Overcome Achievement Awards. You know what I'm saying? Not me. You know, I want when they see me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther. You know, every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that what we're supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks, drawers, pants. I know you're rich. I know you got $40 billion, but can you just keep it to one house? You only need one house. And if you only got 2 kids, can you just keep it to 2 rooms? I mean, why have 52 rooms and you know there's somebody with no room? It just don't make sense to me. It don't. And then these people celebrate Christmas. They got big trees, huge trees, all the little trimmings. Everybody got gifts, and then somebody's starving. And they're having a white Christmas. They're having a great Christmas, eggnog and the whole nine. That's not fair to me. Again, you have to be logical. You know, if I know that in this hotel room they have food every day, and I'm knocking on the door every day to eat, and they open the door, let me see the party, let me see like them throwing salami all over I mean, just like throwing food around, but they're telling me there's no food in here. You know what I'm saying? Every day, I'm standing outside trying to sing my way in. You know what I'm saying? We are hungry, please let us in. We are hungry, please let us in. After about a week, that song is gonna change to we hungry, we need some food. After 2-3 weeks, it's like, you know, give me all the food, breaking out the door. And after a year, then you just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm picking the lock, coming through the door, blasting, you know what I'm saying? It's like you hungry, you reached your level, you don't want any more. We asked 10 years ago. We was asking with the Panthers. We was asking with them, you know, with civil rights movement. We was asking, you know, now those people that were asking, they're all dead and in jail. So now what do you think we're gonna do? And we shouldn't be angry. And my raps that I'm rapping to my community shouldn't be filled with rage. You know what I'm saying? They shouldn't be filled with the same atrocities that they gave to me. In the media, they don't talk about it. So in my raps, I have to talk about it. And it just seems foreign because there's no one else talking about it.
Either you work hard for it, or you don't work hard for it. Well, me and my brother, we work hard for our stuff. It don't come easy. In life, you have to work. Either you want to be the shark of the ocean or the fish of the ocean. And right now, we want to be the shark. Take over everything. Strength, no weakness. Power, you must have to have that mindset. So you're going to come in here and dominate. But when you say, no. Don't put yourself down. Motivate yourself. Keep yourself up, pumped, and ready for any challenge.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long
I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it is. Then I go to my brother. And I say, brother, help me, please. But he wind up knocking back down on the knee. There've been times that I thought I couldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able, Father, to carry on. And it's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is. Said I know that a change is gonna come one day. I know a change gonna come. Yes, it is. I know. Said life can be hard. Oh, yeah. And times can get rough. But still